Yeah. So that trauma bonding thing is, yeah, it
You know,
is.
I never heard of that term before until recently.
Hmm.
That's when I was like, trauma bonding. Oh, okay. I get that.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you start thinking about situations and scenarios of what can be considered trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding. Right. Right.
You know, and then you start to be fully aware
Right.
of people who only link to you through that.
Through the trauma
Mm-hmm.
bonding. It's like the worst thing that can happen, I've seen it in my life with family members, is that family member went to rehab. Um, and when they got to rehab, she met another man that was in rehab. They hooked up, started dating. They did the rehab for about 2 weeks, and by the third week, they was back off to the races doing what they used to do that got them into rehab. And the reason why is because what happens, and you got to be careful when they got to rehab, some people go to rehab because the courts told them to go to rehab. And then some people go to rehab because they had enough and they for themselves and they hit rock bottom. Most of the time, people who had enough and hit rock bottom for themselves, those are the people that kind of make it through for the most part, I would say. Um, just from my own life experiences, I've seen that happen. So when they went, but when the courts say you have to go, once they get in there, I'm only here because the court said I had to come. And so they get in there and then they meet other people who are broken, who are addicts of whatever, and they're addicts of whatever. And then they get in there and they trauma bond. And now the 12-step program ain't working because they're working them backwards. Don't work your 12-step program backwards.
That's in anything in life.
And that's in anything. Absolutely. Yeah. So that trauma bonding thing, that's why you have to be careful. A lot of women getting into these relationships and then they get with these guys who look good, got the swag, things like that. And then you get with them, and then after y'all do what y'all do, you find out dude got some issues. You be like, that's not normal.
It's no
And
different
and,
than a
and
man.
women too.
Say it's no different than a man dating a woman who got daddy issues.
A woman who got daddy issues. I had to
It's a form of trauma on them.
listen. And you're so right about that because I dated a woman. I dated a woman who uh she had a problem with her baby daddy and she had a problem with her dad and I'm looking at and then the way she was talking about her baby daddy to me and we just started kind of dating getting to know each other. I got really uncomfortable with that because I don't care who he is. I'm not about to sit here and let you continue what I say. I'm not going to help you rehearse your traumas. Whatever he did to you, I'm not about to sit here and help you rehearse, relive. I'm not. And believe it or not, some people get mad at you because you won't help them rehearse how they feel about this dude, or this chick. And I'm just not that dude. It's like, chick, I know you, I can tell what kind of dudes you're used to. You're used to dudes that'll sit here and be entertained by you dogging out your baby daddy. I just never was that dude. Like I like mom. Like really?
Well, it always made me feel if you can sit here with me and do that, talk about him or her, then you could do the same thing with me. So,
Absolutely. That's very capable. They're very capable of that. Some people are just naturally jerks. You know what I mean? So he probably did do all of those things, and you probably was trying to be in love and things like that. That happens, but you're not even hearing like, what could you have done better? What could you? Is there an area in that you could have handled it differently? Is it once I see that you're not open to hearing that, and you just want to just like, listen. Either you're listening to my story, either you're feeling what I'm saying, or you're not. Well, I'm not.
there's just people out there that just only want to look in the mirror.
Yeah, they only want to look in the mirror when it's time to look good.
but they won't look in the mirror when it's time to critique an area that you're not so good in.
that they're not so good in. Right. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, that trauma bonding it's a real thing, and I'm not doing it. I'm not, and the reason why I know I'm not doing it is because I know I have once done that. I have been in relationships where we was together because we both was broken. You know, I have dated beneath my potential. I have definitely dated beneath my potential because I was a broken person, right? I think everybody probably, you live and you learn, you go through. I think everybody has probably experienced that. I'm sure ladies don't be judging me. You probably woke up one morning and be like, what was that? And where was I at? And where are my friends at? Who let me do that? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, um, yeah, I have before. But those are, and when you look back on those times, how broken was you? What was you trying to medicate?
I
You
say
know?
that person complimented the version of you, who you were at that time.
Mhm.
Let's put it in that term.
Or compliment, yeah, complimented the time when I was broken. Yeah, yeah. And then if you try that later on in life, they'd be like, "Oh, how you been? You good?" Right? No, no, no. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. No, don't wanna repeat that. No, you can't do that. You can't go to, "I love everything about you. I love flaws and all." Then they did something that hurt. Then you say, "No, I'm done." And it's like, no, that's what relationships are. Relationships is that's what makes it strong. What did you do? What steps did we take to work it out and get over it? Or get I don't want to use over it because that's a triggering word. Get over it. I don't want to know. But what steps did we take to get through it and get past it? Where when we can look back 2 3 years from now and say, I'm so glad that we didn't end things there because I love where we are today. That just made us stronger. There's a lot of men that I know. A guy that said to me, he said, "Yeah, man, I messed up with my wife real bad." He's like, "I can't do nothing to jeopardize that. I know I hurt her."
Mhm.
Jay Z made a mistake with Beyonce, and he came to that realization, like, I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to continue to hurt her. I don't want to do that. We have something great. We have something awesome. We are the power couple of all power couples in our community. So let me not mess this up. It's not a good look for the status of man that I am. I can do better, and I will do better. That's what we want.
Yeah.
That's what nobody wants the worst version of anybody.
Right, but in relationships, everybody's typically always growing and changing.
Hmm.
And sometimes you change and you're no longer compatible with that person, like I said, because they become a version of who you used to be.
Right.
So that's a relationship. I feel like that's a healthy breakup
Yeah.
when you realize I've changed, you're changing, my growth is here, your growth is here, but for some reason we couldn't meet in the middle with our growth.
And sometimes it's like that. And I think that it takes two mature people to recognize that when, like, it's like the love is not gone. I still love you. I want the best for you. But who I'm becoming is this. And I know it conflicts with who you're becoming. And especially if they're not married. Because if you're married, you're married. Because I believe if once I'm married, you listen, you stuck. You got me. You got all me.
But
Right?
the thing about it is it's more common in marriage.
It happens.
Than it is boyfriend and girlfriend.
So here's my question. So what is or when is the right time to get married? Because those things kind of happen with people who get married when they're 19, 20, 21, 22, with the exception of my brother and my sister-in-law, because they have a beautiful marriage, been married for 23 years now, and they got married at 18 and 19. Salute, they did it. And your mother and father as well. Like, I mean, just did a beautiful job. I love it. I love it. So Shout out to them, my brother and my sister-in-law, right? Um, so, but for the rest of us, for the rest of us,
So hats off to those who pick up on that early on, because it takes sometimes years for people to get to that point.
right,
But like I said, people know their twin flame right when they meet that person,
right,
and they don't want to let that person go. So the next step would be
Yep.
marriage.
marriage, yeah,
I believe that you know that that person is the person that you're supposed to come to that union with or marry when there's God in it.
when it's God, yeah,
If there's no God in it, to each his own. Everybody doesn't live by that creed,
mhm,
but I do.
yeah,
So if there's no God in it,
yeah.
I know that I'm not.
But we see that now,
Yeah.
like yeah, by that now, right? So because me, the same thing for me. I knew when I started walking with God, I knew that I'm like, if she doesn't have a relationship with God for herself and not taking that serious, you know, there's a chance that it's not going to work, because I know that I get into a place where I can, I have these moments where I get a little, my motivation is gone, things like that. I'm still moving, and I get into. I need a woman that knows how to get in the presence of God for real, like really get in the presence of God and really speak life over me, not give me strategies on how to deal with your issues. No, I need because that works too, right? Depending on what level it's at. But can you get in God's presence on my behalf and really know what you are praying for and really asking, like really intercede? Really, I know that I need that. And I know that I want to be that person for that woman. I know for a fact that when she's going through a time with her family, her job, her career, kids, whatever, I want to be able to get in God's presence on her behalf and truly speak to God for my lady. You know what I mean? Like that's just a real thing. You know what I mean? Because it's, some guys think, well, I'm a sex her. Well, she got a problem. I'm a sex it out of her. I'm a buy her gifts until she feel better. All that she likes that too. but but right, it's the bonus. But really, sometimes what people are going through is really spiritual, and and I think that's when the spirit is not right is when it's the worst situation. So I need someone who can get in God's presence on my behalf.
Having somebody that knows how to pray with you,
And,
not just for you.
and pray with me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And pray with me comfortably. You know what I mean? So those are important things. Yeah, man. This has been an awesome episode. Thank you, Miss Shonda, for coming on and talking with me, sitting here. And we just kicking it. That's what fifth charge is. We just kicking it. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. What are your superpowers? Let's go back to that real quick. What is your superpower? And how would you help the kingdom of God with your superpower? Chances are, whatever you said, your superpower is already close. Your gifts is already close to what that superpower is. It's probably already in alignment. It's just about figuring out how to strengthen it, how to use it, and how to help the kingdom of God with your superpower. Yeah. So thank you guys for checking in with me. You already know the name. My name is Shannon Casino, aka Cinco. This is Fifth Charge, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya.